Hello friends, it's Kat from Meow Meow Kapow. I'm going to be real honest with you and say that the power in my apartment went out for a good long while and threw the biggest of wrenches in my plans for this week's video. It's kind of hard to write a script, edit footage, and record a voiceover when you don't have a computer to do any of that. So, once my power came back on, I searched the archives and found some unused footage for me playing around with these Sennelier soft pastels. Like their watercolor test pack, it's just a little taste of what they have to offer, and while I'm not going to review these properly in this video, I will tell you that I liked them enough to buy a set of 20 more of them with the intention of making a Skillshare course around using chalk pastels. It'll happen eventually, someday. Just need to finish the other classes I have in mind first. Instead, I just wanted to talk about how I like bumblebees and how when I was a kid I used to play with them like they were pets or little friends. For a couple of years, my sisters and I lived in a house that had an incredible garden out front with all sorts of glorious blooms, including an entire island section covered in gorgeous purple and pink butterfly bushes, rows and rows of black-eyed Susans, tulips and pansies and carnations in colors that even the rainbow would be jealous of, and a healthy army of hydrangea bushes. There were probably hundreds of different plants in that garden, and I loved every single square inch of it. As did all of the bugs. We had more species of butterflies in that one garden than probably any one park normally sees, and ladybugs and praying mantises were guarded and prized as champions in our household. For me, though, I was enthralled with the bees. With how many flowers we had, of course, our yard was always abuzz with bee activity. It was hard to walk more than a few inches without seeing one just completely covered in pollen and totally drunk off its conquest. I realized that the more coated in bright yellow dust these bad boys were, the more docile they were. So one day I started to just pick them up and play with them like they were my sweet little babies who just wanted to be pet. If you ever touch a bumblebee, they're very soft and fuzzy, especially on their bright yellow booty. No idea why I decided this was a fun thing to do, or why I never stopped twice to worry about getting stung when now that's probably my third thought upon seeing a bee, but these are sweet memories for me. I used to talk to my little bee friends and carry them around on my finger and tell them stories while we went on adventures around the garden or while climbing the giant holly tree in the front yard. I don't remember ever having been stung by a single one of them, nor do I remember ever having done any kind of harm to them before they decided it was time to just be on their way. I just remember hours and hours of play with little yellow fuzzballs in our magical forest of fragrances, keeping each other company until we both had to go home for dinner. Good memories. Gotta hold on to them when they come to you, but not too tightly so you don't break them apart and stop them from warming you again the next time they're able to visit. If you want, I'd love to hear some of your good memories. Maybe you also had unusual friends, or maybe you had somewhere that felt like magic to you. Personally, for me, that house has a lot of good memories attached to it. Like the smell of fresh pasta sauce on the stove, or the cold tile floor in the small little room that I had all to myself, or the secret drawer in the little end table I built myself that I miss pretty desperately. It's kind of funny thinking about all the little things that bring me joy, especially because so many of them are bizarre and silly, like a little girl talking to her bumblebees in a time before the land of liking and subscribing was even possible. Until I see you next time, I wish you peace, love, and good memories.